You keep looking at yourself on the
I
camera.
do. I'm a handsome man.
What's that?
I'm a handsome man.
And just another reason why we love Glenn Fleming.
Before we start this segment, let me fix my hair. All right, I'm ready now.
Well, your hair is very nice. Not as beautiful as one Ken Romero.
No,
but,
no, of course not.
Right, but still it's nice looking.
Yeah, but
Thank you for bringing that up.
you almost have it swept back in the same Ken Romero do. I mean,
Yeah, but when I do this, like sweep it back, it moves back.
Ken's is nicely cemented in place.
exactly. Good morning. It's Nathan and Bernie in the morning, 232-1542 if you'd like to join the conversation with us. Glenn Fleming joining us for Firearms Friday. He's from Acadiana Gunworks in Scott. If you have a question that you have just been dying to ask Glenn,
No math questions.
no math questions. Yeah, okay, sure. But anything related to guns, firearms, maybe the legalities of such, go ahead and give us a call at 232-1542 this morning. Good morning, Glenn. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How y'all doing?
Doing just fine.
It's
and
Friday.
look,
It is Friday.
we did this to Brooks David the other day.
You're not gonna throw things at me, are you?
No. We are actually videoing
Oh, yeah.
this segment for our
true.
website. So if you would like to see the video version of this segment,
And you want to see it?
in a couple of hours, go to KPEL965.com. We'll have that uploaded for you. All right. Let's start out with our usual weekly safety tip of the morning.
Yes. I was at Knob Creek 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I hate you.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great. And we'll get into that in a minute. But, I did something that I shouldn't have done. It wasn't a big safety thing, but it was gets your attention. So I thought, well, this happened to me. I'll bring it up on the radio. And what happened is I'm up on the line shooting, and I'm shooting a machine gun, so you don't want to just stop and fiddle with whatever you're doing. You want to keep your mind on the gun, keep it pointed down range, all this. So what happened was one of my earplugs kind of popped out. My left-hand earplug popped out. So I'm like, oh, well, no big deal. I'll live. I'm deaf anyway. And as I was shooting, the minigun that was about 5 foot to the left of me lit off. Rang my bell really well. So I had a headache for like a day and a half after that, because those things are really loud. It's pretty impressive. So the moral of the story?
Yes.
If you have earplugs in or any safety equipment, which you should have all the time when you're shooting, make sure that it's properly, I guess, installed or worn. But, don't just say, oh, it's going to be fine, because maybe your eyeglasses fog up, you take them off, and you'll say, oh, it's fine, I'll keep shooting. Well, what if you get that little piece of shrapnel in your eye right then?
Yeah. Hold your thought on that, on safety gear. We'll get back to that in just a second. Good morning, caller. You're on Firearms Friday with Glenn Fleming. Go ahead.
Hey, Glenn, I was giving you a call. It's kind of like a safety question, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just ask the question and then hang up because I can't really hear y'all well. But
Okay.
my question was, I like to build AR-15s. I do a little bit of work on my guns. I
Yeah.
wanted to know what you thought about the lower end of the AR-15s being plastic.
Oh,
And do you think that's safe, or would you use it? Do you think it's durable? And just, would you advise going with that route or go the regular route, the steel route? And I'm gonna go ahead and hang up.
okay.
All right, thank you.
I'll
Thank
tell
you.
you what he's referring to is a polymer lower ARs, or polymer AR lowers, excuse me. A lot of people use them. A lot of people have great success with them. Myself, I believe in metal. I like metal. So, I recommend going the aluminum route for an AR receiver.
So it's probably a better idea.
Yeah, I have no scientific evidence to back that up other than I like metal.
Hey, man, nothing wrong with that, huh?
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to that safety tip. By the way, 232-1542 if you'd like to ask Glenn a question, much like that caller just did just now. You mentioned make sure you have the proper safety equipment, which you should have with you all the time. What kind of safety equipment are we talking
Well,
about?
you're talking eyes and ears for the most part. I mean, if you wear glasses, like I wear prescription glasses.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it on the little lens thing here. And what I do is I have Oakley prescription shooting glasses that I shoot with. That way, they've actually saved my eyes a couple times. So go ahead, Oakley.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is earplugs. Earplugs or the earmuffs, whichever you prefer. I prefer plugs, but as long as you wear them, that's the important part.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's really the big things.
Prescription shooting glasses?
Yeah.
What do those look like?
Oh, you see my sunglasses?
Yeah.
Exactly the same, just with clear lenses.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I didn't even know they did such a thing.
Think about it. It's a big market, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people like me who can't see a damn thing, and they shoot. So,
Might
it's
as
like,
well
we
make
can
it.
let him shoot blind, or we can help him. So they help me.
I just figured that you would have just worn goggles over your glasses. That way you could.
Oh,
you know,
no,
keep
no.
seeing.
That's kind of
No?
annoying,
Yeah,
wouldn't
that's,
it be?
that's
I would
very, very annoying.
Okay.
Plus, you don't look as cool.
think. Yeah. And he's already got the hair thing down, so he's like, hey, man, he's got to have the eyewear too, you know?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, it's coming up on 7:18. Let's take our first segment to
Already, huh?
Firearms Friday. When we come back, we're going to talk about the long wait is finally over, apparently.
is.
What am I talking about? Again, we'll get back to that in
It's
about
a
2 minutes right here on Firearms Friday with Glenn Fleming. It is 7:20 here at KPEL. Nathan and Bernie in the morning, 232-1542. If you'd like to join the conversation with us this morning. Glenn Fleming joining us from Acadiana Gunworks in Scott for this Firearms Friday. All right, the wait is finally over, Glenn.
Yep, it sure is. We actually have the Glock 43 in stock at Acadiana Gunworks. And you're asking, what the hell's a Glock 43?
Well, I know what a Glock is.
Yes.
Is it one of those guns that I got to try out the other day?
No, it's a brand new
Oh,
gun.
okay.
Everybody's been like,
Ooh,
panting hot and
excitement.
heavy to get this
Right,
gun. It's
right.
a little while ago, Glock introduced the Glock 42, which is a single stack. Single stack meaning the rounds are on top of each other
Yeah.
in the magazine. A single stack 380.
Is that the one that your wife has that she
No,
let
it's the
she
one
let
I
us
have.
shoot? Oh, you have.
Yeah, I
Okay.
like it. It's strictly for concealed carry because it's teeny. It's a little bitty gun. Put it in your pocket, have a good time. I don't recommend that, but you can do it. Now the Glock 43 is its older brother, the 9mm in single stack gun. Now here's my first impression of it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Let me tell you why. For one, it's more expensive than the Glock 42. For two, second reason, it's actually not that much smaller than a regular compact double stack gun. So instead of having 6 rounds in the single stack, you could run like 12 rounds or something in the double stack. That seems like a no-brainer to me. The other thing is, I had another thing. Let me read what it was. I forgot.
That's okay. We do that
Oh,
every
I
day.
remember now. I don't like holding it. The grip is typical of these single stack 9mm is long, front and back wise, but real narrow side to side. And that, for me anyway, that makes an uncomfortable holding position, an uncomfortable grip. I don't like it. It's all squared off. It's not really rounded like you get with the bigger ones.
Sort of like my iPhone 6.
So, but I'm saying exactly. Oh, check it out, new phone. It's huge. But so this is just my impression. Y'all come by the shop, check out the double stack 9mm, the single stack 9mm, and the Glock 42, and form your own impressions. I'm not here to tell anybody their gun isn't good. I'm just telling you my impression of it.
Like
All
your
right. Let's take another
Yeah.
phone call real quick. 232-1542. Good morning, caller. You're on Firearms Friday. Go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. Well, I got kind of a dumb question, but I haven't been out in years. I'm disabled now, but I used to hunt with my dad all the time, and of course I haven't been. I'm in a different lifestyle in terms of cooped up in an office. But what is the deal with the popularity with machine guns? I'm just a little concerned about that. Maybe you want to comment on the air on that, but I've been seeing and reading all over the place that it's becoming very popular. And I just wonder, what does that say? Is it really just kind of a way to relax, or maybe you may not even want to comment on that question. It just kind of worries me a little bit about machine guns and these high-powered weapons. I love hunting and fishing, but I'm just a little concerned about that.
I'd be more than happy to comment on that.
All right, thank you.
Basically, it's just like having a fast car. You got a car that does 200 miles an hour. Why the hell you need that? Speed limit's only 55 or 65. Well, you got a machine gun that fires 200 rounds or 600 rounds a minute. Why do you need that? You can't hunt with it. Same thing. It's a hobby. It's some way to relax for people. Here's the deal. There's a lot of misconceptions about machine guns being these death-dealing weapons and all this stuff. Here's an interesting fact. When you're in the military, and I'm using this analogy because everybody worries about machine guns versus people and stuff. When you're in the military, machine guns are used to keep heads down, not to hit anything, because your dispersal of your rounds is not very accurate at all. It's designed to keep people's heads down. If you want to hit something, you shoot semi-auto, which everybody has this misconception that machine guns will just St. Valentine's Day massacre you and all this stuff. When in reality, semi-auto is much more I guess, deadly, for lack of a better term. And semi-auto is, pretty much the most popular hunting weapons there are. So, I mean, anything, my big point on all this is whether you have a RG-22, which, by the way, is the most popular weapon used in murders, or a machine gun, anything can be used badly in the wrong hands.
Yeah, it's all about the person who
Yeah.
wields
That's
it, right?
right.
Oh, yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Coming up on 7:25 here at KPEL. Again, if you'd like to join Glenn Fleming from Acadiana Gunworks on this Firearms Friday, give us a call at 232-1542. It is 7:25. We have Todd Starnes with his Fox News and commentary next. 7:27 here at KPEL. It's Nathan and Bernie in the morning. 232-1542 if you'd like to join the conversation with us. Firearms Friday with Glenn Fleming from Acadiana Gunworks in Scott. All right, so you were at Knob Creek.
I was.
And we've heard a lot about that already. We're
great.
extremely envious of you.
Oh, man, it's the world's biggest, I guess, machine gun shoot. Well, it is a machine gun shoot. And the line is about, 200-300 yards long with a bunch of people with machine guns that shoot that away.
So basically 3 football fields?
Yeah, about.
Wow.
And if you stay for the night shoot, everybody uses tracers.
Mhm.
So there's no kidding, 1,000,000 rounds of tracers going down range all at the same time. It's beautiful.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, man.
Let's take another phone call while we have the chance. 232-1542. Good morning, caller. You're on Firearms Friday. Go ahead.
Good morning. I want to ask Glenn, on that movie Predator, Jesse Ventura sported some kind of Gatling gun. Did
Yeah,
they make such
minigun.
a critter like that?
Oh yeah, the minigun's been around since the Vietnam War, and they used them in helicopters. They used them on Puff the Magic Dragon, which was the AC-47. They used them in different roles. Now, the standing around, walking and shooting, yeah, they didn't do that because it shoots around 3,000 rounds a minute, and that's a pretty good rate as far as twist for inertia and all that. And also, the recoil of that is just 3,000 rounds a minute. A 7.62 is pretty massive.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
yeah, it's a cool little gun. I used to shoot them a lot when I was in the helicopters.
I want one.
Oh yeah. Well, I can actually get you one. Their going rate for them is about $300,000.
All right, Glenn.
Yeah.
Caller, if you have that kind of money, hold on, stay on the line because I'm going to give you the routing number to my bank accounts. And yeah, listen.
Well, here's the big thing.
Thank
If
you so
can
much for your
afford
call.
The gun, you got to afford the ammo at 3,000 rounds
Oh,
a minute.
yeah.
60 cents a round.
60 cents around.
Okay,
Do the math on that one.
Before we let you go, you have some very important
I
news
do.
that you need
I do.
to talk
If
about.
I didn't say this, I'd get killed dead, and y'all never hear from me again. Jamie, happy anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do because I didn't buy you nothing yet because I'm a bad husband, but I'll figure out something.
Now, Jamie, I'm going to give you a heads up here because some of the things that he was suggesting during the break, I'm just saying Tara would not go for it either. You probably, I don't know. I don't know. Glenn, thank you
Don't
so
worry,
much for
it'll be a
stopping
happy
by.
anniversary. Until she hits me with a bat.
We appreciate you coming by. We'll see you again
No
next
problem.
week.
See y'all
7:31 here at KPEL. News, weather, and traffic are next. It is coming up on 7:41 here at KPEL. Nathan and Bernie in the morning. 232-1542 if you'd like to join the conversation with us this morning. The field of candidates for Lafayette Parish Sheriff growing by yet another person. Rick Chagwa joining us in studio this morning to talk about his candidacy. Good morning, Rick. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Brandon, Bernie. I really appreciate you having me. I appreciate the listeners for listening to me this morning.
Well, we appreciate you dropping by this morning to have a chat with us. First of all, the question that everybody asks, why do you want to jump into this? Have you gone, I don't know, mad or something or other? Because, to jump into a political race, you've got
It's
to
always
question.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, you have to admire anybody that's going to put themselves out
Yep.
and let the public scrutinize you because you want to do the job. I'm very fortunate to have come from a law enforcement family, and I've been associated with public service my whole life. My father was a state police major by the time he retired, and he served with the Lafayette Sheriff's Office for 15 years as a chief deputy. So as I was growing up, I was involved in law enforcement through my whole life. I was able to witness it as a child growing up and be involved in watching the administration of law enforcement. So by the time I was 13 years old, I knew I wanted to be a trooper.
Mm-hmm.
So I did get a scholarship. I went to college at Northeastern Monroe, but
I won't hold that against you.
I understand. But they were paying, so I went. But honestly, the desire to do the job kind of overwhelmed the scholarship. So I took the civil service test, and I was the second youngest ever hired in Louisiana State Police.
Wow.
I started state police when I was 19 years old, and I worked there for a little over 25 years. So I was able to retire with state police.
My goodness. So you've got quite an impressive resume already.
It was an interesting career. I was able to work in uniform operations, detectives, narcotics, gaming investigations. A little over half of my career was in investigations and administration. So it gives me a good base. During that time, we were able to work with other agencies. We worked multi-jurisdictional task forces. So I have a pretty broad knowledge of how to work with others and reach out into the community and make things come together.
Well, that brings up an interesting question, a really good question, I think. And we're talking with Rick Chargois. If you're just now joining us, he's running for Lafayette Parish Sheriff. We have all these municipalities that with their own individual police chiefs here in Lafayette Parish. Of course, Lafayette PD, Dusson, Scott, Youngsville, Broussard. They've got their own police chiefs. And as sheriff, you're going to be tasked with, I guess, working with those 5 individuals and creating a working relationship with them. What are your relationships like with those fellows?
Well, the interesting thing about it is because of my involvement with state police for so long, I know most of them personally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've been knowing each other for years. One of the candidates that's in the race with me, we've been friends for 35 years. So it's not an adversarial relationship. It's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the other people, I know each of the chiefs personally. We've met, we've worked together in the past. And one of the things I see as the sheriff, I mean, constitutionally, he's the chief law enforcement officer of the parish. So it's his responsibility to work with these people, bring them together, make sure that we're working as a community, because crime is no longer an isolated thing. It crosses many jurisdictional lines, and we have to all work together. So I think the relationship that I have with all these gentlemen, and they're all good guys. So the cities and the electorate have picked good people to run their offices, and we'll work together.
Yeah. Crime in the city of Lafayette overall, the most recent numbers are down, but there's been an uptick in the parish. Of course, primarily as the head of the sheriff's office, you'd be enforcing the laws in the parish, the unincorporated areas of the parish in particular. What is your plan? Do you have a plan? How would you see yourself combating that trend, that upward tick in the unincorporated areas of the parish?
Well, we do have a plan, but first thing we need to do is we're going to need to go in and we'll have to do a needs analysis. We realize that there is an increase in crime in the parish, but we have to look at what kind of crime we have, where it is, how it's being committed. I don't believe in just throwing a bunch of police officers at a situation. It's not cost effective and it usually doesn't work. But targeted police activities are important. You go in, you identify where it is, what it is, how it is, and then you have proactive law enforcement to go in and take care of that situation. We need to remember that the sheriff's office is not only a police agency, it's a business. It's a big business. They have about a $60 million budget, and we have to be concerned about corrections. We have to be concerned about civil and tax. But crime, as I go through the city now, talking to people all over the parish, they're really concerned about crime.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to make a concerted effort, and that's where my background comes in. I have a long history in law enforcement. I know how to do targeted policing so that we're not wasting effort and we're picking the right people to do the right job. We need good quality people that are courteous to the public, that recognize we're public servants. We work for the public. So we need to reach across and make sure that they understand we're there for them and we're trying to help them.
I guess that plays into my next question, too, because Lafayette Parish has some of the fastest growing communities in Louisiana, some of the fastest growing communities in the southern portion of the United States, even. So how do you keep in mind that we're growing at such a rapid pace while having only, limited resources?
It's a very good question, and I'd like to answer it in a couple of different ways. First off, Lafayette Parish it's recognized nationally for its business community and its quality of life. Well, with that, all of these companies that come here, one of the primary things that they look at is public safety. Is the community safe for their employees, their families, and things like that? Up until now, it's generally been safe, but like you said, there's an increase in crime. So when we do that needs analysis, we need to take that in mind. And again, we're going to only bring in what we need to meet the goals. Now, we also have to plan. We have to have a 5-year plan. We have to have a 10-year plan. Mm-hmm. Regardless of the sheriff being only a 4-year position, you still need to plan long term. So we have to plan for the growth, work with the city administrators to make sure that we're meeting the needs that they have. The second part of that question is, you take a community like Youngsville. It's growing by leaps and bounds. They have a small police department. The new chief is doing a great job trying to develop it. The city council is trying to accommodate him, but he's not going to be able to meet all the needs eventually. Right now, the studies are saying they can meet it with what they have and what they're asking for, but they're going to have help from the sheriff. So that's where I'm going to offer, through the relationships that we've established, to go in and supplement these departments when they need it. That's kind of what the state police has always done, so I'm accustomed to it.
Before we let you go here, we only have about a minute and a half left. For those of you who have never heard of you, what is the one thing about you that a voter in Lafayette Parish needs to know?
First off, I'm not a politician, even though I'm running a political race. Everybody wants to say they're not a politician. I'm truly not. I've been a public servant all my life. I believe in communicating with the people and the people that work with me. The sheriff's office is the kind of agency that people don't really look at a whole lot until it affects them personally. So I want to make it more available to the public. I want people to recognize what we're there for and what we do for them. I want to expand the capabilities and services of the sheriff's office. I want to reach across the aisle in our community for those that are starting to distrust law enforcement because of what's going on nationally. So I will be what we try to term as the people's sheriff. I want you to be able to come to me. I will have an open door policy on both sides, and I believe in communicating and letting them tell me what they need out of that department as well.
Rick Chargois, he is a candidate for Lafayette Parish Sheriff. He's going to be on is it October or November?
It's October.
The October ballot.
October the 24th.
October 24th. Yeah, that's right around the corner. Mm-hmm. Listen, thank you so much for dropping by with us and letting us have a chat with you this morning. We certainly do appreciate it. Good luck in your campaign, okay?
Thank you very much.
It is coming up on 7:50 here at KPEL. We'll take a 2-minute break. We'll be right back.